Federal government detects over 1,000 federal workers. INEC warns political parties against violation of Electoral Act election timelines. Nigerian Army to review security architecture, build fighting will of troops. Good evening and welcome to the 2021 Appropriation Act from March 31 to May 31, 2022. The extension was approved following the consideration of the bill to amend the 2021 Appropriation Act. Moving the motion suspended a rule to enable it expeditiously introduce and pass the bill. Meanwhile, the bills seek to establish the National Industrial Technology Park, the Federal College of Agriculture Iseorin, Ekiti State, and the Federal University of Agriculture, Ogoja, Cross River State, also skilled second reading as plenary. In his remarks, the Senate President Ahmed Lawan referred to the bills to the Committees on Trade and Investment and the Joint Committees on Tertiary Institutions and Agriculture and Rural Development. In another development, the Senate has urged President Muhammadu Buhari to declare a full-fledged war on terrorists to engage in massive killings and wanton destructions across the country. This is as the lawmakers today observed a minute silence in honor of those killed in a recent attack in Monya local government area of Niger State. Moving a motion at plenary, the lawmaker representing Niger East, Ali Musa, called on the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, the state government in putting an end to the menace. He maintained that the incessant attacks have led to killings, abductions and displacements of residents of the state. President Muhammadu Buhari from the private sector and opened the portal of auspicious dividends for millions of Nigerians and foreign investors. Buhari said that with over 70 blending plants operating in Nigeria, the nation is on its way to becoming Africa's fertilizer powerhouse. He maintained that the era of persistent shortage of fertilizer across the country has now become a history. Buhari noted that the federal government will continue to take combative measures to curb overdependence on imports and self-sufficiency in food production in the country. The president noted that with the right enabling environment, investors from around the world will sever the yearnings to invest in the agricultural sector. Ahead of the 2023 general elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has cautioned political parties against the Abuja. INEC's chairman of Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, said the commission will stick to the timetable and schedule of activities for the election and also monitor primary elections of political parties. Okoye urged political parties to adhere strictly to the principles of internal democracy drawn from their constitutions, guidelines, the Electoral Act and other regulations issued by the Commission. He further urged political parties to avoid acrimonious primaries which could result in unnecessary litigations that may lead to failure to nominate and field candidates for elections. Meanwhile, Nigerians have called for the election of visionary leaders in the forthcoming general elections. In a chat with IATV's Ayodele Fakeye, they noted that the election of credible leaders is the way out of the challenges facing the country. The report.
Over the years, the country has been bedeviled by poverty, insecurity, political uncertainty, bad roads, unemployment and corruption. These problems have been attributed by many to be a leadership issue. Reacting, some concerned citizens could appraisal of the people they want in leadership positions and not get sentimental about their decisions in choosing a leader.
I think people should demand credible people, and credibility has to do with being God-fearing, being wise enough to know what your people need. There's no fear of God, there's no true belief, there's no credibility, there's no things that make you moral. Morality is gone. So when we don't have a good and moral leader, there's no way the country will, no matter the resources that we have.
First thing that I think people should look at is the kind of the candidate that is they wants to vote for, the kind of a man or the person that the man is. Maybe is someone that have a conscience of God, that's God fearing, then the way he has been doing. So they should look at those things, and not ordinary man that doesn't have any conscience to do what is not supposed to be doing.
Also, a public affairs analyst, Martins Omobude, said the Nigeria of today is a leadership question begging for answers, stressing that there are some attributes Nigerians should look out for when selecting the right leader.
If you are choosing a leader, you should be able to look at what is the quality, what is the history of this person, what has he done successfully. He may not be a politician in the past, but in his field of endeavor, is he a manager? Has he been able to manage successfully his company? Can he manage human beings? Then we now talk about probably educational background, which is also part of it. But in all honesty, it's not about having PhD in politics that makes you a good politician. Leaders who will not buy voters' conscience for individuals, not just a political party. For instance, you have a political party where they have been able to, during their primary, like it's been rightly and widely defined, that the primary election is a family affair where decision is being made in order to choose a leader who rules a family, or who organizes a family, or who administer the affairs of a family. But it goes beyond that. In a larger society, you could choose a political party and be a candidate, and the larger society would reject the person. So if you are too sure of the person you are bringing, there's no need giving us an image.
He nevertheless said the onus is on the citizens to use their power through the ballot box.
Are your promises? Let there be manifesto, and let there be organizing meetings on daily basis by the electorate. So you can vote out a leader that you voted in. If it's no longer performing, you move to the appropriate authority, ensure that it's removed from office. It's not truly representing you.
Without doubt, Nigeria needs leaders who are creative, innovative, and have decisive leadership skills to develop and foster peace in the country. Ayodele Fakeye, IITV News.
Nigerians need to be more proactive in monitoring electoral exercise right from polling units to its last destination during voting activities to achieve free, fair and credible elections. This was made known at a conference held by the Coalition of Civil Society Organizations on Anti-Fraud Election Security in Osogbo, Osun State. Speaking with newsmen, the convener of the coalition, Kennedy Yere, urged the Independent National Electoral Commission to ensure the credibility of Osun and Ekiti State's governorship elections as test cases for 2023 general elections. According to him, the success of the governorship elections in the states will determine the outcome of the 2023 general elections. Also speaking, one of the coordinators of the event, Sylvester Okodua, called on the electoral body to address the challenges associated with the biometric voters accreditation system before the elections.
I saw the elections being conducted. I knew what happened. I knew unapologetically the role INEC played. Yes. If they are coming to play the same role here, this year after 4 years, and they are allowed to do so, 2023 is then already rigged before we get there. If we don't take a proactive step, look.
The beavers experts are readily within the proximity and easily reach when there are bridges with the beavers to avoid long delay of accreditation and voting. It's a very big challenge.
Government has detected overworking at an event in Abuja. The head of civil service of the Federation, Folashade Yemi Eson, revealed that over 1,000 corporates were discovered in one ministry, while 500 others found in other ministries, departments and agencies during a service-wide verification exercise. Yemi Eson noted that the ghost workers will be delisted from the Integrated Personnel and Payroll Information System. She explained that the federal government has taken decisive steps to nip in the bud the alarming sharp practices and acts of impunity being perpetrated on the payroll system, as well as to purge the system of all infiltrations. Yemi Eson also announced a mop-up exercise in the core and non-core ministries, departments and agencies. The Cross River government has debunked claims that it has been unable to pay salaries to workers and gratuities to pensioners in the state. In a statement today, the state's head of civil service, Timothy Akwaji, described such claims as malicious, untrue, and concocted to dent the image of the state government. Akwaji noted that in the face of challenging revenue inflows coupled with suffocating debt overhang, the present administration placed premium on payment of salaries and pension to the admiration of all. He noted that the state government will not hesitate to sanction or prosecute those orchestrating malicious propaganda aimed at causing disaffection in the state. Akwaji also gave the assurance that the state government will continue to address the concerns of workers and senior citizens of the state. Following the survey that Nigerians spend over two-thirds of their month-to-month incomes on utilities, a cross-section of Nigerians have appealed to the federal government to cushion the effect of the biting economic challenges. Those who spoke to Impact News Crew lamented that the 30,000 naira minimum wage can no longer settle their bills. Anu Akomolafe has details.
The prices of foodstuffs have recorded significant increases across major markets, and it is attributed to the hike in transport costs. Not only that, electricity tariff, price of filling gas, among others, are some of the challenges Nigerians are grappling with. According to survey, Nigerians spend 67.7% of their monthly income on utilities such as gas, fuel price, electricity tariff, mobile data, water, and other basics. Reacting to this, some observers lamented that a 30,000 naira minimum wage cannot settle their bills.
People cannot find it difficult to survive the present economic situation now. I'm a government worker. I know what I'm taking. If you are earning minimum wage, what is the essence of minimum wage? When a worker cannot even send his own children to an ordinary primary school without borrowing from banks.
Take-home pay of civil servant is not even enough to last for at least throughout the month. And we are even begging the government if there is anything that they can do to reduce the hardship being faced by the people in the country. It will be of help because we don't even know the way forward now. We are begging them to help us see to a way of reducing the hardship that people are facing on a daily basis.
It's alarming. It's so bad, sincerely. You know, the little salary we earn amounts to nothing. It amounts to nothing. There's nothing left any longer. Even many times, you even borrow before the end of the month. So what do we do about it?
Others are of the opinion that Nigerians are only struggling to adjust to the current economic realities, and they urge government at all levels to do something about the current economic hardship.
We just have to manage. I don't know, but since we find ourselves in that situation, we just have to adjust. That's just it.
Some artisans who spoke with Impact News Crew expressed concern about the epileptic power supply. They have to spend a lot on alternative sources of energy, which is having a toll on the cost of production.
To be sincere, everything is now going down, and everything is now moving. It's not moving forward at all. Due to that petrol, this is every day. I can say every day. Sometimes 350, 450, 550, almost 650 now that they are selling diesel. In that case, to charge customer. Just so you say they can't pay. Just collect the work inside. We can't collect because the price already increased. Before we say we are seeing paper, but as at now, diesel is the major problem that is there.
I went to ṣe tailor, tí mo mọ̀ tó ń ṣe tailor tó ti dé lọ́kadà ló ti pọ̀ jù. Torí kìsì ni kò sí náà tó máa fi ṣiṣẹ́ ṣọ́ọ̀pù wọn jókòó. Ó sì lójú generator tó gbé machine tàbí tó gbé iron.
It will be recalled that a new study by a United Kingdom firm, Utility Builder, revealed that Nigeria pay one of the highest monthly prices for internet broadband, with citizens paying more than half of their monthly wages purely for internet access. Anu Akomolafe, IETV News.
Of Ibadan today trooped out en masse to register for their national identity number. This is coming after the federal government's implementation of the NIN SIM policy, which restricts calls on any SIM not linked with a national identity number. IETV's Taiwo Olanrewaju, who visited the office of the National Identity Management Commission in Ibadan, completes the report.
Muhammadu Buhari has approved the implementation of the NIN SIM policy, which restricts calls on any SIM not linked with a national identity number (NIN). Consequently, the federal government has directed all telecommunications operators to strictly enforce the policy on all SIMs issued, existing and new in the country. Prior to this, the deadlines for the NIN SIM linkage have been extended on multiple occasions to allow Nigerians to freely comply with the policy. However, in a visit to the office of the National Identity Management Commission in Ibadan, Impact News crew observed that people trooped out en masse to register for their national identity number, while others were at the office to lodge complaints on the number. A resident of Ibadan, Adeolu Folawe, said he registered for the NIN in 2016, but it has not been functional. He lamented that he has been to the office on countless occasions to generate another number.
I did my BVN, my NIN since 2016. Up till now, they've not generated my NIN for me.
Also speaking, Abiola Ojo noted that he has been trying to register for the number since 2018, even as he decried that the office is always crowded.
I registered around 2018 to enroll then, so I've been trying to get the application form and everything, but I was unable to many times I've been here.
Also, Ajao Olawale said the registration is filled with errors, as most people always have issues with their national identity number.
I'm here to register for my NIN, which I have registered before, but I was told it was bad. That's why I'm here to register again for my NIN.
Last week, I want line to photo mi re gbogbo eri abejoba ki won ran wa lowo won nu agba ti phone ati gbogbo won tie block bai laaro.
Contrary to the claims, an official of the commission who spoke with anonymity said it is unfortunate that Nigerians are giving excuses for failing to register for their NIN.
Once you are registered, you get a NIN max 1 week, 2 weeks after you get your NIN. It's not possible for you to come since 2018 and up till now you don't have your NIN. The major challenge is, one, the people not coming out to tell us, give us the fact. You come in here, you want to register, we say, okay, give us your BVN. They hide it. They register. Meanwhile, they already have a NIN from the harmonization of the BVN record. Now, if there's a hit, there's no how you can get a NIN from that one, because already there's a record on the database.
He added that
the bank through remitter, 500 naira. Anybody that has an issue with the date of birth, it is 15,000 paid through the same process. That's the date of birth that takes a bit longer, usually 6 weeks. Quite unfortunate. How would somebody come out and say a government office will close at 2 o'clock? There's no sense in that now. How can we close at 2? Officially, we operate from 8 to 4 p.m. And most times, even if you come here at past 4, we are still attending to people.
Nigerians have been encouraged to visit any NIFC registration center for revalidation of their SIM card. Taiwo Olanrewaju, IATV News.
In the aftermath of the increasing attacks by terrorists in several parts of the country, the Chief of Army Staff, Farouk Yahya, has reiterated the resolve of the Nigerian Army to deal with unscrupulous elements terrorizing the peace of the country. In a statement today in Abuja, building the right fighting will of the troops, the Chief of Army Staff noted that the volatile and complex security emergencies facing the nation have necessitated a continuous review of the national security architecture to contain the threats. He affirmed that the Army will continue to brainstorm and prefer practicable ways of strengthening the will, zeal, and the spirit of the troops. In business, the Central Bank of Nigeria has advised Nigerians to shun unlicensed financial operators offering mouth-watering returns on investments. This is as the bank revealed that many Nigerians are falling victims to firms which offer up to 100% return on investments to the people. The bank, through its Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, said illegal financial operators lure and defraud members of the public by offering extraordinary returns on investments as bait. It also described the increasing activities of illegal financial operators as worrisome, saying it is a threat to the nation's financial system. The committee, however, assured that financial regulatory agencies will continue to carry out all necessary due diligence before registering or licensing any operator under their regulatory purview. The Senate has passed a bill seeking to establish a Federal University of Medical Sciences and Biomedical Technology across the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. The bill was passed during plenary after the...
Good evening. Welcome to the sports segment. Former Super Eagles interim technical advisor Austin Eguavoen says he does not see himself as a failure despite the team's unimpressive showing under his tutelage. Eguavoen took charge of the Super Eagles on interim basis following the sacking of German coach Gernot Rohr on the eve of the 2021 African Cup of Nations in Cameroon. The Super Eagles exited the competition in the second round despite a promising start which saw them win all their group matches in convincing fashion. The former defender was retained for the 2022 FIFA World Cup playoffs against the Black Stars of Ghana. The team failed to secure a place at the Mundial, losing on away goals road to their internal rivals, the Black Stars of Ghana. In other news, Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp has played down reports that Mohamed Salah is set to commit his long-term future to the club, but said contract talks are ongoing ahead of their Champions League game against Benfica. When asked about the situation, the German had this to say.
Tried 10 minutes long, but I didn't understand the word. No. We have obviously with Vitor, with Pep Linders, and with the boys, with Diogo, of course with Luis, enough specialists for Portuguese football in our team. But we did analyze anyway completely normal because we don't need any kind of inside stories. Maybe we watch at the football team, and that's what we did at the